All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Justin Hall. A lot of you guys may know me from Married at First Sight, San Diego. Welcome to my podcast, Let's Talk Men and Emotions. Today, we have two special guests. We have Gil from season 13, Houston, and we have Roman from no season. He's just a special guest.
Season zero.
How y'all doing, man? How's the week? It's Friday.
Oh, it is Friday, man. I completely forgot about that. I worked all week, so it's kind of that days just kind of like go in together, mix in together with me, but for me. But nah, my week's been good. I'm feeling good. All is good on my end.
Yeah. So you're a firefighter, right?
Correct.
Man, what's that like, dude?
It's honestly it's great. So my regular schedule, I only work 2 days out of the week. But
Damn.
yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
But I have so much free time that with that, I can either have a second job, which most firefighters do, or put in overtime. And so this week, that's what
Yeah.
I've been doing. I've been working a lot of overtime. So when I work a lot like that, it's kind of like I kind of forget what day of the week it is. I just know I have to be at work a certain day of the week. But overall, it's fun, man. It obviously
Yeah.
it can when it gets bad, it can get really bad. But it's fun. It's cool. I like it. I like it a lot.
What would you say your biggest challenge as a firefighter?
Being able to, I would say, separate myself from things when they happen. Being able to compartment. I would say compartmentalize things because you see some very horrific things. You see some gory things. And and sometimes there's some things that might not resonate with you, but then there's some things that might resonate with you, especially when it comes down to like we see deaths, especially if they're like accidental, or you see kids, or just in a bad shape, or things like that. That stuff like that is
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to get away from it. You got to be able to kind of like do your job, and as soon as you leave the scene, just completely forget about it.
Yeah. Man, so you got to really be able to separate your personal life and your personal emotion from your work emotion.
For sure. I mean, that's the best way to do it if you want to be in this career for a very long time. Because if not, you're just going to be
Facts.
stressing yourself out.
Yeah. Man, that's kudos to you, bro. Like, I salute you.
Appreciate
That's
you,
a
bro,
tough
man.
job.
Appreciate you.
So you're from Colombia, right?
Correct. I was born in Colombia.
Man, that's so cool. I got some questions, boy. I got some questions for you. All right, so keep it a buck with me. Okay. How are the women in Colombia compared to American women?
And okay, so I mean, in reference to what though? Like, let's break it down. Because
Okay, that's cool.
when it comes down, so for the most part, I would say, just generalizing them, the women in Colombia are more traditional when it comes down to gender
Okay.
roles, right? Compared to
Okay.
the majority of women here. I'm not saying all women here aren't like that, but the
Yeah.
majority. But they care about very, because as Colombians, and I would say in a Latin cultural just in general, women are raised to take care of the household and take care of the men. And so Colombian women, they kind of keep that. They're all about, even
Yeah.
if they work, even if they do their own thing, they're making sure that their husband's right, that the house is clean,
Man.
that everything is right at the
I
house,
like that.
and that their husband's happy. But not saying that the husband doesn't do his part either. If he's not doing his part,
Yeah.
she's not going to do her part. But for the
That's
so
facts.
in general, the women out there are very more traditional.
Okay. Yeah, anyway.
So you're
Man,
saying you know
50
what to
million
expect
people.
when you start dating a woman out
What'd you say, Roman?
there. I was
Yeah,
saying
go to
basically you
Android
know what
again.
to expect when you're dating a woman out there since they're conservative.
Absolutely. Now, women are women. Things happen.
Yeah,
But you
that's true.
definitely know what to expect. I don't want to speak for every woman out there. Not saying that all of them like that. But
Yeah.
it's just
Of course.
if we're speaking in general, yes, for sure. You definitely know what to expect.
That's cool, man. I've only been out of the country once, and one thing I've discovered is that, so I might get a lot of shit for this, but maybe I won't. American black women aren't interested in me, but when I went to London for 2 months. International black women love my black ass.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's all I got.
So I have something to say about that because I kind of. Okay, let me ask you something. Why do you think so?
Okay.
Why do you think is it? Why would you say that?
So, from my experience, when talking to, a sister or even just trying to holler at them, I'm a gentleman. I don't have much game, but I'm gonna make you laugh. That's my go-to, and growing up, I've actually talked like, hey, am I your type? You're to this or you're to that, and all of this to this and to that. If you go international, I met a lot of women from Kenya, they're just like, yo, you're a king. That's where I started hearing that from. They was like, I love your high cheekbones. I love that you have beautiful skin. Like you're tall, you're lanky. But for some reason, I'm not people's cup of tea here in the United States because they don't want long and lanky. They want long and muscular. They want, if I had your size on me, they'll probably be flopping out on me like, a bag of potato chips.
Okay, I see that. I can see that because a lot of times, the funny thing about that is that a lot of these women, and this is just every race. I'm not just saying black women. This is every race. I feel like they are trendy on what they want. It's like what society is trending on, then that's what they go look for.
That's facts. That's true.
It's not
What's your take on that?
Women out here that's like, hey, I like this and I stick to this no matter what the next person says. Mm-hmm. Because I remember beard wasn't a big thing a while back. And now beard is like taking over. Like they got to have a man with a beard. You know what I mean?
Man, I'm struggling over here, boy.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I can grow a beard easily, but my job doesn't allow me to have a beard. But I've noticed that. I've noticed these small things. It's just like if you flip the script. I've always been a guy that loves the lower half of women. I've always been a butt man myself, right?
Yeah,
but
same.
Butt's been trending highly lately. I remember boobs was the thing when I was a little younger.
That's true.
You know what I mean? It's like things
that is true.
Differently.
It was all about boob jobs back in the 90s.
Jump over that. And it's like,
it was.
Why don't you just like what you like and stop letting society tell you what to like?
That's facts. To add on to that, lips wasn't like full lips wasn't a thing.
And now we got Botox injections into the lips and lip fillers or whatever.
Everywhere. I was like, man, I used to get made fun of when I was in grade school. They're like, bro, you got some big lips. And I honestly didn't think I had big lips. I thought they was normal. I still think they normal, But when I'm seeing these women, I'm like, yo, this is really a thing. So you're right. It's what's trending.
It's sad. And so I have, I would say I kind of am right there with you when it comes down to sisters here. But then I noticed, this is what I noticed. The sisters that used to say that to me back in the day was the ones that were, I was into the ones that I shouldn't have been into. Put it like that.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so, like the ones that they was like, I would describe them as a Range Rover. A beautiful, beautiful car that ain't worth nothing.
So you talking about a trophy wife, a trophy woman?
I mean, yeah, I guess you could say, because I was just going based off looks, right? But then
I feel that I've done that for a long time.
It ain't nothing there.
Yo, so just to add to that, man, for the longest, I'm still about looks. I ain't gonna sit here in front, like I can't, they know. I just gotta be attracted to you.
No. I get that. Everybody should be attracted to their significant other.
Exactly. But I will say the older I get, the less it is about looks. You know what I'm saying? So like for me, it's roughly about, realistically, I'll say 35-40% looks, personality, everything else, because I've dated some bad women. I mean, some fine ones in my eye. They were fine,
and that's all that matters. It's just fun in your eyes.
Exactly. Exactly. But Yeah, man. I lost my train of thought. I do that sometimes. That's that ADD kicking in.
Now you were saying that back nowadays, personality, I guess is. I mean, personality. Yeah, personality is more important than looks for you.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, it is, man. Just because, like, I think who said it? Jack Harlow. He was like, any woman can be pretty, but not anybody can be in tune. You know what I'm saying? And so that's a big thing to find a woman that's in tune with who she is, you know, versus who society wants her to be.
Very true. And then
Yeah. Well, attraction is
what
more
I've
than
seen
looks.
as oh, Romy, you trying to say something?
I'm sorry. I was saying attraction is more than looks. There are looks. That's part of it. But attraction and all, that's way more than just looks.
Absolutely.
Big
Yeah,
facts.
it's a lot of things
That's big
that you could
facts.
be. Yeah, you can close your eyes and not even see what this person look like, and they can do things that you could be attracted to, and you don't even know what this
That's
person
true.
looks like. So that's very true. Valid point on that. When it comes down to I mean, we all have to be attracted to whoever we. I mean, in the beginning, especially in the beginning, that's what's gonna. Yeah, they might be. You might catch a glimpse of their personality, but for the most part, you got to be somewhat attracted to them, looks wise. That's what's
Yeah.
gonna like bring you in, and
Yeah.
then from there we go on. But what I've realized lately, the girls that are beautiful and gorgeous and all of that, most of them, that's their personality. Like that's it.
Yo, that is so true.
Their
That's so
personality is
true,
being
bro.
pretty.
Like,
And it's
yep.
like, you gotta have more than that.
Bro, that is a thing. Like women, some women are proud of that. I met a woman, and you know, she was like, "I'm new to LA, this, that, and that," you know, and I was like, "Oh, so you know, what are you doing out here?" And she's like, "Well, I just like to go to parties, you know, to celebrity parties and just be pretty." And so then, me being me, I was like, "So what do you have to offer besides being pretty?" You know, and she owned it up. She's like, "I don't have to offer anything else." And I'm like, "Yo,
That's crazy. They delusional. They know pretty don't last. Like you
man,
gonna end up not being so pretty.
I'm telling you."
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's a
But
wild time that we are living in.
what's your take, Roman? I mean, before you were married, you know, you lived in what? You lived in a penthouse in Houston, didn't you?
Austin. I moved to Austin for a little
Austin.
bit.
Yeah, yeah. Man. So what's your take on this? On his take on society women?
I mean, I agree with everything Gil's saying about it. Like you should have something more. But when he said you gotta have something more, unfortunately, there's some dudes out there with low bars, and all you gotta have is the pretty for some of them. So it is a sad thing. But I will say one thing: all these women or all these people who are becoming pretty after plastic surgery, I'm very concerned about when they have kids and their spouse realizes the kid doesn't look like their wife because their wife had all this work. You know what I'm saying?
That was a good
And
point.
it's funny because that's happened before. I remember that was on like a TV court case. Dude was suing his wife because the kid didn't look nothing like him or her. It was his kids, but he came to find out she had all this surgery.
Yep.
And so he was pretty upset and took her to court for that, which is strange. But no, that's true, man. It's just being confident in your looks and being confident in who you are.
Yep.
And everybody's like just competing on who's the hottest and who's the baddest and
Yep.
stuff like that. And
That's
the
true.
problem is social media can be good, but I think social media is actually just making it worse.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because you got
Yeah.
men that they can be in a happy, successful, just beautiful relationship, but you have this one little tool that has like gives you all this access to all this craziness, this foolishness, and then you start to and depending on who you are and how your relationship is going, you start to kind of like base your relationship off other people. And you let them
Yep.
influence. You let them into your piece, into your circle, and the words and you doing all. It's just it can be very destructive, and it goes both ways
Yeah.
for men and women. Women are never satisfied with what they look because there's always a new trend. If it's not eyelashes,
Yep.
eyelashes been around forever.
Yep.
It's the brown lip liner. It's the, like we said, the bow tie, the
Mm-hmm.
lip fillers. It's always
Yep.
something. And then you got women that just constantly wanna improve themselves. And it's like, I see this on social media a lot. And I can speak for every man that says that they would prefer a woman without makeup. They like women.
Yo, 100%.
Every guy I know, 100%.
100%.
But I get women, they're like, I do it for myself, I don't do it. But if we're telling you, hey, I like you without it, then I feel like you should take some of that into consideration.
Yo, 100%. I just came off a season where we had an issue where my man was just like, he liked natural women, and so I understood where he was coming from, because I'm used to dating women where they barely put on makeup. Like, they might put on some eyeliner and what do you call the shit around their lips?
Lipstick?
Lipstick, eyeliner, and mascara.
Yeah, okay.
They'll just wear something like that. I'm still learning that, man. I just figured out what foundation was, and that was because they put makeup on me at the reunion. But no, I feel that, man. I feel like women, should actually listen to the man when they're saying that, because I feel like we're not being malicious, but we're just telling you what we like, and we like that natural state of you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like when I was dating a girlfriend of mine back in the day, and I grow my mustache from time to time, especially around the fall, winter. I always grow my mustache, and I cut it when the sun comes back out. And she was like, you know what? I don't like the mustache. I was like, cool. I'll shave it off. I took her suggestion because she didn't like it.
Yep.
And if I'm telling her, hey, you got a little too much makeup on, let's taper it down, they get offended. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't get offended.
It would not be received the same, though.
So, I mean,
Hey, that was almost a topic that I had written down, and it was like the honesty that a man can really give a woman. And it's like, and I was like, how honest can we really be? Because I've gotten in trouble, bro. Like, I used to be engaged, and she'll ask me for my honesty, and I would just be blunt. And then I hurt her feelings. I'm just like, you just told me to be honest.
Yeah, it's sad because I'm a very blunt person too, but I've learned that when they ask for the truth, they don't want the truth. They want their truth.
They want diet truth.
They want the truth light.
Yeah.
Truth zero.
You said,
absolutely. They want the truth that you should be. She's telepathically telling you what to say. You better know what you got to be. You better know what to say.
Yep. Man, I'm telling you, women are complicated.
Very. They make it very complicated.
They are some very complicated creatures. I love them. Lord knows I do, but man. Whew.
So, Roman, you're married?
They give me high blood pressure.
I'm going on 2 years right now.
That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
I appreciate it. In total, it's 7 years, but 2 years married.
Cool. That's awesome.
Pushing towards that decade, man.
Any kids?
I ain't mad at it, brother.
No kids.
Okay. That's cool. That's good.
Nope.
Yep.
Bro, we're in this space where, we talk about kids, and then the sentence usually ends with something like, but why?
No, I'm not saying that y'all don't have it, but it's cool because y'all get to enjoy yourselves.
Yeah,
exactly. And we're still doing that so much that, honestly, having a kid seems like a pain in the ass. No disrespect to anybody, but yeah, it definitely would slow the fun down, man.
Right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it is.
It's like throwing a little wrench into just a little more to do. So now things gonna change in different aspects of both of y'all lives.
A little more.
Exactly.
Ooh, that takes patience.
Well, I put it like this. Right now, the emergency apocalypse setup is just for me and the wife. I don't know if I have a third kit yet for that kid.
I got you. That's cool, man. And y'all been together long enough that y'all would come to an agreement on when y'all be like, you know what? All right, we'll do it, or you know what? Maybe this is not for us.
Yep.
True.
Yep. Yeah,
No
Roman's a
rush.
good dude, man. Roman actually came to my wedding for the show, and man had this amazing speech because my nickname is Tree, and I don't remember if they showed it or not. But man, he's a solid dude. Part of the reason I wanted him on this podcast with us is because he is the only guy that can give me the most realist, raw, constructive criticism in the nicest way. And I'd be like, damn, I appreciate that, man. But if somebody else did it to me, and I'd be like, I'd
Yeah,
take
you
it
feel
personal,
some
I'd be
type of
defensive. I'm
sort of
like,
way.
man. Exactly.
That's because I try not to give criticism. I try to give perspective. And that's different than saying someone did something
100%.
wrong.
I learned that
That's
recently,
true.
like the last couple of years. I do my best to try to put myself in other people's shoes. But if I don't understand something, I try to see how they're looking at it, how they're coming about it, and why they see it that way. And then obviously I try to explain it why I see it my way and see if we can come to a middle ground there. But it's very important to see other people's perspectives because we all see things, we all
Facts.
see life differently. We've all experienced life differently.
Yep.
So you can't
Exactly.
just say because this is how it works for you, it works for everybody.
Exactly. That's true. That's true. To actually jump into it, one of the things I wanted to cover was the topic we're going to cover is men complimenting men. And one of the reasons I want to cover that topic is I feel like what I'm learning, not what I feel like, what I'm learning is that different regions have different experiences of how they're being complimented towards a man. So I want to hear your feedback. I want to hear your take. You've been from Colombia and then living in the United States. You're a lot more diverse than I am. So you let's talk about that.
I would say if I'm just looking at it, if I just sit back and look at it, let's say this week in Colombia, it happens a lot. In Colombia, it's very, very common for a guy to compliment another guy because they joke a lot in Colombia. And so they do it through banter. Same way we do it here as well.
Okay.
We do it a lot more over there. And me personally, I don't go out as much as I used to. But when I used to go out, I used to do it because I used to see how it made people feel. Even when I was like on a date or something. And because it makes people feel good. You don't know what they've been through.
It does. It does.
I'll be at a bar or something. If I'm on a date with a girl or something and I'm at a bar or at the table or if we're sitting at the bar, whatever the case might be, I see a guy by himself. Like, matter of fact, I'm actually describing an exact example. So I was on a date with a young lady and we were sitting at the bar because it was full. Actually, no, we were sitting at the bar because I knew the bartender. And so she didn't mind sitting at the bar. So we was having a good time eating whatever and talking. And the bartender, was hooking it up or whatnot. Then I seen a guy sitting like almost across, but like more towards my side. And he had this dope anka. You know what I mean? A little cross with a little loop. And I was like, man, I'm a clean. In my head, I'm saying, man, that thing clean. But, so I'm going back. I'm talking to the young lady and she's talking to me. And then I take a glance towards him again. And then I feel like I don't feel kind of weird just looking over there because I'm starting to look at it. I'm trying to see if I can get it. Like I'm trying to picture it because I want to buy it, right? I'm going to look for this thing because it was so clean. And I was like, man, so I just said something. I was like, hey, my guy, man, that's a dope piece you got right there. Where you get that from? And he was like, oh, man, thank you, man. I got this. And, he just like, it's like, I got it from da-da-da-da-da. And he started talking. I was like, oh, man, that's dope, man.
Yeah.
Real cool, real clean. And he was just like, okay, cool. And then I went back and old girl was just like smiling like, man, I don't really see guys compliment guys like that. And I was like, yeah, I thought it was dope. Why not tell him it was dope? Yeah. And so I could tell that he felt good about it and then, just go about my day. But I like that. I know for a fact people like it because I like it. I've had guys compliment me on something and I'm like, hey, man, thank you. Appreciate that. And then you keep it pushing. And so I know for a fact that it's something that we need to do more often. Yeah. And I guess we don't do it because of machismo or whatever. People just don't like to give people flowers for some reason. They're gonna be like, I don't know. I don't know, man. People I feel like that's an immaturity that if you
Yeah.
can't compliment another guy that you don't know, like I feel like that's an issue. That's the issue. You should be able to, especially if you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should go out every day and compliment a guy. I'm not saying that. But if you see something on somebody
Yeah.
and you appreciate it or you think
Hmm.
it's whatever, why not give that man a compliment? You know what I mean? Yeah,
I
don't
can
go
dig
out
it.
of your
I can
way to
dig
go
that.
do it. But hey, like me, I saw the uncle. I thought that was dope because I had an uncle myself, and I was like, hey, so I'm gonna say something.
Yeah. That's cool. That's cool. So, okay. So basically in Colombia, it's normalized,
Very
but it's not as
normalized.
normalized
Yeah,
here in the United
it's
States.
very normalized.
I
Yeah,
can dig it.
they hype. It's like you know how. Okay, put it like this. You know how these lame dudes be blowing up women's heads here. So they do
Hmm.
that in Colombia for everybody. They blow everybody's heads up.
Damn.
Like you feel
Wow.
good. But don't get me wrong, they'll clown you too. If they see you
Yeah.
slipping, they will clown you. But it's but for the
Yeah.
most part they will give props when props is definitely due.
I can dig that. I can dig that. Man, I love Colombia. Let me tell you, I feel my head up.
They
Shit.
so friendly down there, man. Everybody talks to you like they know you. Everybody talks to you like your family. So it's
Yeah.
so common for them to say something to you because they treat you like they treat you like family.
I like that. I can dig that. That's good to know. So when I make my way to Colombia,
Oh,
I'm
most
gonna know what to
definitely.
expect.
You'll feel very comfortable, man.
Yeah.
You might.
What's your take, Roman?
Um. I everything Gil said, but I will say one thing about American men. Um. Me specifically, I compliment dudes.
Hmm.
But now that I'm thinking about it, I think I keep it to accessories on them. I
Okay.
don't know. I think everyone has a different realm of where they go with it, but nice
Hmm.
watch. I like those shoes. Uh, it's rare that I like a good shirt. So if I see a shirt I like a dude, that's as far as I'll take it. I say, man, that's a fly shirt, bro. Real
Hmm.
quick. And just like y'all were saying, for the most part, guys will light up, smile, appreciate
Hmm.
that. Hey, thank you,
That's
appreciate
true.
that.
Man, especially if you did
Okay.
that while they're with their girl. If
Exactly,
you
Hey, that's
compliment your
true.
exactly.
That's
dude
true. Yeah.
while he with his girl, oh man, that my man is walking on cloud nine.
She glows
Head
up.
gonna go big.
He gonna feel like
That's big
the
facts.
baddie in that relationship.
And you know
Hey,
what?
that's
He's got
true.
to say it
I
real
ain't gonna
cool.
lie, bro. I ain't gonna lie. When I get a fresh cut, man, I'll be in the mirror and you
Of
can't tell me
course,
nothing.
of course.
Versus when my hair grow out, man, when my hair looking nappy, bro, my hair reflects my face. I just be,
The whole
you know what I'm
mood
saying? But I got a clean
confidence
cut.
level goes down.
Whole mood
You
change.
ain't trying to make no eye contact with nobody.
Mm, that's
Put
true,
that
bro.
beanie
You be
on.
looking mean.
Ah, that's so funny.
That's good. So I got another question for you, Gail. So with you being from Colombia, it's really refreshing because it's such a culture difference, And one of the reasons I started this podcast is because from my experience and the people that I've grown up around, and the men that I know, we don't really express ourselves, the way we want, because of society purposes, because of how we're going to be judged or not spouses. So my direct question is, how were you taught to sustain your emotions growing up as a kid in Colombia?
Well, I would say that's what we're very similar because it's the same thing over there. Um, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You're a man, not supposed to show emotions. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's the
Damn.
same thing. It's very universal when it comes down to that. That I feel like in
Yeah.
today's world is just where it's just now that we kind of like hit that topic and let people know that it's
Hmm.
okay for a guy to have emotions
Yeah.
because you're human, not a robot. But
Hmm. Facts.
getting I wouldn't say I was never taught any when it comes down to emotions, I was never taught. My dad was my dad was macho as it gets. So it wasn't no talking about no emotions. I'm not sitting, hey, let's talk about how this made me feel. Nah, that's not happening. So it's
Yeah.
Colombian men It's very similar. I mean, and I would say I would speak for Latino men in general. It's very, very, very
Mm.
common for us to not really show emotions when it comes down to, other than some type of excitement. If you're excited about something, that's
Yeah.
about the brunt of it. Obviously, death in the family,
Mm.
stuff like that, that's cool. But we're talking about like in a relationship
Yeah.
type of emotion. Nah, you're not none of that. None of that. And
Yeah.
so it's very, yeah, it's
Wow.
very similar to America in that sense.
Man, so how does that? So okay, so with it being very similar to America, like, are you the type of person to keep your emotions in now to this day, or do you feel like, growing up and with that being the norm, has it affected, relationship with women, relationship with
I would
colleagues,
say
etc.?
early on it did, but as I got older and I realized that that wasn't healthy, I changed myself.
Hmm.
I was able to realize, I was
Yeah.
able to see that this is not the way it's supposed to be. Now, I will say, even though
Hmm.
Latin men in general don't show emotions when it comes down to like the relationships, it's funny because they might not show emotions, but they're very romantic, right? So they'll do romantic gestures
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And
Hmm.
Latin men are very, very like keen to romantic gestures, but when it comes down to like their emotional side, they tend to like
Hmm.
hide it. They make sure they mask it very well. Me in the very beginning dating, in my dating life, nah, I didn't show emotions a lot. And then to this day,
Yeah.
it depends on who I'm talking to, because I'm still not going to show my emotions to just anybody, because at the end of the day,
Hmm.
not everybody deserves that from you. It's only certain people that you can
Yeah,
be able
that's
to share
true.
that way. You shouldn't be sharing it with everybody. Because some people are just,
Yeah.
even though you don't know at the time, but some people are just stepping stones. I mean, it's sad to say, but there's just
Hmm.
I would say they're not stepping stones. I would say, not, I won't
So
use
it's
stepping
stepping
stones. Let's
stuff.
say they're a lesson. And it goes both ways. You're a lesson
That's
for them and
facts.
they're a lesson for you. Right? And you learn and
Okay.
you try to learn from each
That's
situation.
true.
Right? Now, like I said, you
Mm.
don't know if that's going to be that person. Like my man
Hmm.
Roman, he didn't know 7 years ago when he dated his wife that she was going to be his wife. But as you date
That's
that
true.
person and you become closer to that person, then you know how much you are able or willing to show this person. But that's not something you come right off the bat. Like if something happens and y'all get into it, whatever, a disagreement or some type of discussion where emotions are out, you got
Hmm.
to see how to play that, because you got to see how this person is going to treat those emotions. This might be a person that's manipulative with your
True.
emotions.
That's true.
You don't know that.
That is
So that's
very
why you
true.
got to
That's
kind of
true.
like sit back and kind of let it ride to see how they even deal with it, because they might not even be suited to deal with your emotions. And it's not because they're a bad person, but
Okay.
they probably just don't know how, because they've
Hmm.
never, like we were talking about, they haven't ran into a guy that's emotionally intelligent. So they wouldn't know how to
Hmm.
deal with that. And it's not her fault. It's just
That's fair.
something y'all just gonna have to kind of grow together with and kind of build from there. But like I said, you don't just do that with anybody. You got to make sure this is the right person.
You know what? That right there sticks with me for sure. Because I'm that person. Like, I'm okay with being vulnerable. It's no problem with me to be vulnerable with somebody. But like you said, it needs to be with certain
Correct.
people, and I need to create that boundary where I can pick and choose, because if not, people will take
Absolutely.
advantage of that.
And I feel like if you just,
You know,
man, I was told once, man, if you just let somebody talk, they'll tell you everything you need to know. So you know what I mean? If you could
that's
just
true.
sit back and just really see this person for who they are and take them for who they are when they show you, you'll know quickly, fairly quickly, if you can rely on this person when it comes down to being vulnerable.
Okay, all right. I want to play
Go
devil's
for
advocate
it.
a little bit. Okay, so you repeat that last
I
statement
said
for me.
if you let. Okay, so first of all, I said if you let them talk, they'll tell you who they are, right? So you will
Okay.
know fairly quickly who that person is, and then you'll know if you can be vulnerable to this person or not.
Okay. So what I want to ask is how often and how hard is it for people to actually do that, or they just deal with it, or are they optimistic and they're just like, well, let me see how it continue to play out, or I'm going to do this. Like, do you feel like we ignore those red flags?
Yeah, I say we do because depending on how much you like the person. But so that part right there, depending
Yep.
on how much you like a person. So I was to speak on that specific part. First and foremost, you as a person need to be very emotionally mature. So when
Okay.
you're very emotionally mature, that means no matter how much you like this person, you're gonna separate that from that vulnerability. You
Yep.
know what I mean? I can love
That's
this
true.
person. This person can be my
Hmm.
crush. And when it's your crush, you want to do everything for them. You want to do everything perfect. Da, da. But if
Yep.
you're emotionally mature, you're not
Hmm.
gonna let that blurry what's going on. You're not gonna let that influence it.
But I'm man, I'm learning from you right now, so I
And
appreciate
so
this.
and so and so if you are emotionally mature, then it's easier for you to answer what you just asked me. So then it's easier for you to realize, okay, I can be vulnerable with this person. Now we don't always get it right. We might be vulnerable with the wrong
Yeah.
person. That's cool. But you just got to take that on the chin and keep it
Hmm.
moving because if it's just like if you study for a test, you study for this test and then they throw you a curveball
Hmm.
because you're supposed to do something outside of your studies. That's not on you. They told you to study for this. You know what I mean?
That's
You just
true.
take it on the chin and
That's
you
true.
prepare for it next time. So you can't be
Hmm.
mad at yourself. You was prepared. It's just they just threw a curveball. So even if you are vulnerable with the
Yep.
wrong person, but at that time you feel like it was right because you were mature enough and you understood where this person was coming from. Y'all had a good conversation, or y'all had good
Hmm.
conversations, and you feel like, you know what, I can't be vulnerable with this person, so I'm gonna let this person in. And you let them in, and then later on, they were just playing you. That's not on you. Because sometimes people play a really good
That's true.
game. Some people are
Hmm.
really good at these games. Some people are with people like 2, 3 years and then find out they're not the person they were. It's like, damn, you've been faking it for two
Yeah,
to three years. Like, what is that? Like, that's some dedication.
man.
So I feel like as long as first and foremost it starts with you. You need to
Okay.
grow and be emotionally mature to become emotionally intelligent. And then from there, you'll be able to make better choices. I won't say the right choices because we're
Okay.
human. Sometimes they're the wrong choices, but you'll make the
Hmm.
best decision for you at that time.
I could dig that. No, I'm taking notes for myself, man, because one of the things I'm working on is my own emotional intelligence. One of my problem is I have no boundaries. I say I have boundaries, but I feel like I don't because when I'm in a relationship, and that boundary is crossed because I do like that person, I'm like, okay, now I've expressed, this concern to my partner, and I have the expectation that they're going to change, and then it happens again, but it happens in a different context or a different form, or it might be a different behavior. And then it's just like I constantly catch myself over and over trying to just make it work, and so I don't know, man. Like, I don't know if it's just me and I don't want to call it quits, or I'm still working on that.
So what happens when you do that, man? You less like your value diminishes because this person's gonna keep stepping
Hmm.
on you and they're gonna keep pushing it, even though they probably don't do it on purpose. But
Hmm.
so they crossed the boundary that you didn't like. You spoke to them, but that was it. Y'all had a little conversation. That was like, okay, I'll
Hmm.
make sure not to do it again. They do it again in a different manner. Y'all have the same little conversation. They do it again. It's like they know nothing's gonna happen. You know what I mean? It's just gonna be a
Hmm.
conversation, and then y'all gonna sweep it under the rug. And so my question to you is: when are you talking about your boundaries? When do you let your boundaries be known? At what part of the relationship is this something early on, or is this something like when y'all are already kind of like in the thick of things? I guess you could say.
Real talk. I'm gonna be straight with you. I typically do it in the beginning, but I have a tendency of dancing around it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not very direct with them. I'm more so very indirect with my delivery, you know, versus just saying, hey, these are my non-negotiables. These are my boundaries. And so I typically do it in the beginning. And I may say it in a jokey way where I'm like, yeah, you know, some of the stuff don't do this, or, you know, or I'll say something like, hey, if you cheat on me, that's it, you know. But it's never like a direct conversation where I'm just like, hey, let's talk about boundaries. And maybe that's something, you know,
like
us talking
it
here, maybe that
should
should be
like
something.
that. But it shouldn't be in a threatening way. Because you're not threatening them, right? You're just letting them know, hey, I don't appreciate this. You know, because I know you're going to have boundaries, and these are my boundaries. So let's talk about them. You know what I'm saying? And then and it's good that you do it in the beginning, because that's something that y'all can see if y'all are compatible. Because if y'all boundaries conflict, then you might as well just go ahead and move on to the next one.
That's true.
You know,
true.
Especially if they're deal breakers. If it's something like, hey, I don't know, if it's something you can work on, like, I don't know, the person don't like doing dishes or something, you know, like, okay, cool, I can work with that, you know, or, you know, something that y'all can work on, that's cool. But if they're deal breakers, like this person, like, let's say you don't like a person that smokes, but she smokes, you know, how important is that to you? And is she willing to stop smoking? You know, that could be a deal breaker for you, but she's like, you know what, for you, I'm going to do my best and try, but I need your help. You know, you can work with that.
Yeah, that's exactly. I can work with that, but the likelihood of that happening.
But you hold that person accountable to that, because these are the words out of her mouth. And if it just gets worse, then hey, we said we was gonna do this. You said you was gonna do this. I was gonna help you, but it ain't working. So you know, this ain't working. So, but definitely bring it up in the beginning, but definitely don't be direct, but not aggressive with it. You know, I should say. Okay, so I like that. Instead of the word direct, be concise. I mean, be precise with it. Be very clear with it. Okay. You know, don't make it a joke, because if you deliver it as a joke, then it's just a joke. You know, I get it. You don't want to make it seem like you're like, but no, you're having a grown conversation. You know what I'm saying? True. Just like if you just everybody's deal breaker is if you cheat on them, right? And that should be on everybody's list, right? You know, you won't joke about that's true. It. You'd be like, you know, if you cheat on me, that's it. You know, that's not a joke that matters. All the other ones should be at that same level. Yeah. So I feel like it's very important for people to set their boundaries. That's a conversation I have, like, when I get to know the person. We're not even dating. Like, we probably might have went on a first date. And if it's the first date, I might bring that question up, because boundaries are really important. And people tend to not talk about that. And then because they like the person so much and they let them get away with stuff, and then you're just miserable.
Yep. That's true.
Like, for instance, is true. And I personally know that. My season, there was definitely boundaries that my wife crossed. And why did I let it slide? Because in my head, that's my wife, right? I'm going to make it work. You know, we going to work around this. Nah. I should have stuck true to myself and been like, this is not going to work. Yeah. So you felt like that set the tone for your marriage? Absolutely. Yeah. I'm not saying she was disrespectful. We were never disrespectful to each other. For me, it was like the negativity. It was something that could be in the beginning. It's like, you can work with it, blah blah blah. But if you think about it, it's gonna drain you slowly, and you'll get to a point where you just can't take it no more. It's true. What I mean? Man, it's so true. That's actually I would say that's very similar to my story. You know, when I was, I was on Mavs. My experience is boundaries were being crossed, but I should have been more direct about those boundaries versus, dancing around about it, but because those boundaries were crossed and I went through that experience, a lot of times I learned from my mistakes. So I was able to be like, now I know
my non-negotiables are. Now I know what my boundaries are, and that's something that I'm practicing. Of course, it's a challenge, but that's the end goal is to be consistent.
Roman, what's up with you? What since you're the married one? What
Yeah,
how did you and your wife
he quiet over there.
break down your boundaries?
While y'all were talking, I was thinking of a secret tip for everybody. So one of our secrets, bro, watch TV together, because you're going to see scenarios and situations you haven't been in yet, and you get to comment on them from a third party perspective. So I used to turn on House Hunters. That way I could be like, oh man, white countertops, you're going to have to clean them all the time. Pause.
Hey, that's very smart.
What does she have to say about cleaning? Or we're watching an action movie. The dude pushed the girl. He left her behind. Oh man, that's messed up. He picked himself over her. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel you. Every scenario watching TV can turn into picking each other's brain.
Exactly, like sharing. And it's innocent because, guy to guy, if you go too far, just say, I'm just playing. I was joking. But if you want, you can drill into some things that, you don't know when it's going to come up or if it'll come up in your relationship. But hey, if we were in that Liam Neeson movie where he was in Europe, what would you have done if, and you'll just get to see different perspectives of your partner without actually having to be in the situation.
I like that.
That's
that
one
tip.
Of the best ways.
Watch TV. That's easy enough.
That's right.
You got to do it chill, though. Invite her over to cook and then have the TV on in the background or something like that. Yeah.
And be like, okay, here we.
Yeah. Well, you can't. You can't turn on Wolverine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You got to keep it chill.
Man, I love that, dude. So, Roman, a question I got for you, and it's related to, the emotional question that I asked Gil. You being from the South, how were you taught, or how were you taught to deal with your emotions? Were you taught to suppress them? Were you taught like me, like Gil, toughen up, don't cry? And then my next question is, how does that play into your marriage?
That unfortunately, just like you two, I was told to suck it up, walk it off. One of my dad's favorites would be is something worse has happened to somebody somewhere else. So you're going to sit here and take this that personally? So, man, so a lot of it, just like you said, you get pushed down with it. They just tell you to get over it, quit crying.
Rub some dirt on it.
Yeah. I'm going to give you something to cry about.
Right, bro, I'm going to give you something to cry about, or, if he comes back and whoops your ass again, then you're going to be crying or something like that.
That's fact.
But as far as how it plays into my marriage now, specifically with my wife, who's Sicilian, so she's definitely in tune with her emotions. It benefits me to just express them in a real way, honestly, which is the hardest thing to do, because just like Justin, especially, my go-to phrase is, I'm fine. I'm fine. That's great. No, I don't care. Oh, that's cool. No, I'm good. Versus taking that space to be like, I didn't like what you said there. My default is that's not cool. And then I'll find myself 5-10 minutes later, halfway home in the car, out of nowhere, I go, you know what, actually, and then I get into it, right? And that's good that I'm eventually bringing it up. But to my wife's perspective, she's like, well, why are we talking about it 25 minutes later after we just, went out and got another drink and got some more food, and now we're back to the house? So that's my struggle, communicating it in the time in a respectful manner where it's not delayed or it's not skipped over. Just,
I got you.
Shooting from the
makes sense.
Is what I work on.
Man, that's real talk, man. That is some. I've learned a lot from both of you guys tonight. I definitely, Gil, thank you for taking the time to speak with me, man. I love your energy, bro. What's crazy is before you was coming, it was like, and you probably get this all the time. I was like, I feel like I know him already. Because I get
the
that
time,
now.
bro. I'm talking about it's so many DMs that I've gotten from not only women, especially the women that's not trying to holler at me, right? They just genuinely just thanking me for
Yeah.
whatever, or they just like me on the show. They'll say
Mm-hmm.
it, and dudes too. I get that all the time, and it's funny because growing
Yeah.
up, or I would say not growing up, I would say when I was already in my 20s. When I worked in I've always been working in some type of customer service, and my goal was always to make people feel very comfortable around me. And so I try to when I speak to people and when I just interact with people, I make them. Everybody always says that. That's like the biggest compliment I can get is when people's like, "Man, I feel like I've known each other. I've known you forever."
Yeah.
And because that's my goal. And if I can get that, then I've accomplished what I needed to do.
I respect that, bro. I respect that. I got one last question for you. How's life? How's life after
Man,
marriage?
life is the same thing, man. I tell people nothing's changed. The only thing's changed is the number of followers in my social media. Obviously, I get recognized when I go to the grocery store here and there, or if I'm out and about, I get recognized here and there. But other than that, man, it's just now more people know me. More people know that I exist around the world. That's
Who you are.
it. Everything that I've been doing, I would have been doing. Not everything. I did get some little perks here and there. Able to travel with groups that I've collabed with and stuff like that. But outside of that, I would have been doing the same thing. Just enjoying my life and doing what I do. So I'm pretty.
I can dig
domestic. So it's like everything's the same for me, man.
I love that, dude. I love that. Well, man, thank you again for being here, Roman. Thank you for being here. I appreciate.
Nice meeting you, my man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wish I would have had your camera on, but man, we gonna get you on that iPhone team. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna get the new one, man. I'm gonna get the new one for Christmas. I can't be left out again, so I'm gonna have to
have a good night. Appreciate
I know.
Y'all be easy.
All right, dude. All right, man. Have a good night. All right. See ya. Peace.